Welcome to our DataStax X AgentQL live stream. We've been looking forward to this for such a long time, and we've been partners as well for such a long time. And today we're excited to introduce you to our great partner AgentQL and also talk about some interesting integrations we have going. So with that, please give a warm welcome to the panelists. We've got Rachel Lee Neighbors and Sergey from AgentQL.
Hey, Tejas, it's so good to have you, or for you to have us. I forget how that goes. Yeah, I'm in Durham, North Carolina right now, but usually I'm in London with Sergey. I just finished up the awesome conference, All Things Open AI edition. It's a little local open source conference. So I just want to give a shout out to the organizers. It was a great event. I learned so much. We had great workshops and everything. And Sergey, you have done an amazing thing. Last week was AgentQL's integrations week, and we pushed out 6, now 7, with today's big announcement, integrations. I think you'll be talking more about our MCP integration shortly. But today we're very excited because we're launching our Langflow integration with y'all.
Fantastic, fantastic. Sergey, would you like to introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Sergey from TinyFish, and I'm also responsible for the various AgentQL integrations, connecting today from London, just off the integrations week that Rachel Lee mentioned, and we will be happy to demonstrate some of the things we've built recently and released last week.
Fantastic. Just to whet everyone's appetite and give a little bit of an introduction, can we talk a little bit about TinyFish? What is TinyFish? And then AgentQL. What is AgentQL? How does it fit into that equation?
Well, I like to say that you can think of TinyFish is to AgentQL what Alphabet is to Google. AgentQL is TinyFish's first and flagship product. May I share my screen? I think it's easier to just explain what it is.
Oh, we have a demo already.
Yay! Okay, let's go. Window. I hope there's nothing too embarrassing here.
Even better if there is.
I can do this. Entire screen. That's the only way to do it. All right, so AgentQL.com.
I see myself. Nice.
It's a beautiful picture. So this is AgentQL.com, but actual AgentQL itself is this query language right here. You're familiar with GraphQL, right?
Yes.
So you can think of AgentQL as like a query language, but for the web. Here, for instance, we got this example with Y Combinator jobs. This is a playground. This is not the actual tool. We have a REST API, JavaScript SDK, Python SDK, and as you may know, like 7 different integrations. But what happens is you can just write this query however you want. Here we've just written job categories. It'll return all the job categories on the page, jobs, company name, role. You fetch the data, and it goes out. AgentQL goes out, fetches all the data, runs it to our servers, and we format the data into JSON reflecting your query the way you wrote it. And the best thing about this is that it works across different sites. I'll give you an example. Like if you go to my site, nearestneighbors.com, and I do this all the time because I have too many social media links these days. It could be social media links, put the little brackets there to get more than one, fetch data. But it also, and see, now it's got all my links there. But you could also ask it some things here, like is cartoonist. This, I'm gonna say, you put this little prompt in the parentheses, and here we would say Boolean. I want a Boolean value. True if cartoonist, false if not. I'm just using natural language. There's no syntax you really have to remember aside from how brackets, curly braces, and parentheses work. Now notice it says true. Tejas, what's your personal site?
I'm just going to say this is such an amazing flex because I already see the value. It's tej.as.
I love how short it is. You've got the best, shortest URL ever. So let's see if it thinks that you are a cartoonist. Let's go ahead and give it a shot. Fetch in the data. I mean, you definitely speak at conferences. False. You're definitely not a cartoonist.
And look at that. So it got my social links too. So you didn't change the query at all.
No.
but you just changed the site, and it got the content from the site.
Exactly. And this would work on Dan Mall's site, would work on Sergey's site. Sergey, do you have a site too?
No, I don't.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to show up. Can we go to can we try with like datastacks.com? What if it's a company?
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Let's try this.
Is a company a cartoonist? What about marvel.com? Cartoons, comics?
That might get it confused. But we could try that too. I want to see what's at DataStax. Let's see. What are some questions you'd like to ask about information on that page?
No screenshot yet. What happened?
Wait. Maybe it wants me to do the... Maybe it wants the full thing.
Wow, I didn't know you could copy the URL like that. That's so cool. You just click on the little icon.
Oh, yeah, this is Arc. I love it.
Amazing. Okay, there we go.
All right, fetch the data. We've also got this little thing here where you can suggest a query where you could say, oh, it's false. It got all those.
A cartoonist. It's fantastic.
You can actually use our API with this as well. You can be like, list all the features of this product and any personnel.
Can you also have it list? No. Oh, okay. All right. Like, it'd be cool if you could have it list all the. Oh, there's nothing. All of the huge competitive advantages of this product against all its competitors. Can you
Do you put those on the main page? Are they present?
Probably. We should know if we want to be competitive.
Oh, let's find out. Let's see. Product features. Let's see if it brings them all back.
This is so cool.
We're being explicitly vague here.
Deploy at scale, guarantee performance, build. That is us. That's so cool.
It found no personnel. You guys don't put any people on your front page.
Not on the front page, but we have a team page.
What is that, /team?
I have no idea, to be fair, but I know it's there. So our website has like thousands of pages, so I don't. You can go to /blog, and then there's people on the blog, like authors and stuff.
Oh yeah. Why don't we just go over? I can also show you the extra feature that we have, which is, check this out. We have a
wow.
We have what we use to debug. This is so it's for more. AgentQL does more than just fetch data. It also can fetch elements, which is really handy if you want to do, for instance, an automation. Our SDKs use Playwright so that you can like fill in like forms, etc. So here I could do like search form, search _ button. And I actually will do this sometimes when I just can't find a piece of UI on a site. So it did find a button, but you'll notice it didn't find a form anywhere. That's because when you hit the button, the form appears. That's okay. When you actually have the SDK, you can write little integrations that will find the button, fill out. If they don't find the form, it'll click the button, then find the form. It's fun.
That's wild. Can we do an experiment? Like, what if you have a query for primary action button, and then you run this query on datastacks.com, on your website, and on my website? Because what I'm trying to get at is it's one query, which has never been this accessible before, right? Okay, so try for free. Okay, cool.
Got it.
And then
now we're going to AgentQL. Let's find it again.
Good API key, isn't it?
It totally is.
Oh, it's
no, actually, it identified its get started.
Interesting.
Very smart. Because to be honest, Gate API key is actually just a link to the dev portal. Okay, now where do you want me to go now?
Your website, because I saw you had a subscribe.
I also have a pay me money calendar button. Let's see which one is primary.
I would think in this case, I'm not an AI, I'm a human. I need to clarify. I think subscribe is because it's big and green. Oh, perfect. Look at that. Wow.
Wow. Wow.
This is really, and so I want to draw the attention of the audience here to something very profound, and that is, this has never been possible in the web before. Historically, the web developers in the audience will know this. You could use something like document.querySelector, document.getElementById, and you get an element by some attribute or some class name. but you can't use that selector across 50 different pages because each page has a different object model, a different structure. And so this, you could have like one, almost like a jQuery select, but because it's natural language, it applies to like hundreds of different websites. Do I understand that correctly?
You're correct.
Wow.
And we have lots of examples. If you're thinking that you've got a project that you want to do this, just go to AgentQL.com and fork on GitHub, and this will take you to our examples repo. We have examples. The examples are, that's true. The examples are in Python. We got Colabs and JavaScript because we got the SDK and Python. And of course, you can always use the Rust API. Now, I think this is the demo. I think we've done the fun demo. You ready to check out some of the integrations and segue into some Langflow time?
Yeah, let's look at Langflow.
I also
while you look that up.
I also want to highlight that this really shines when you need to extract complex data. So for example, here it's just one button, and it's probably easy. Like someone can say that this is probably easy to extract. But imagine if you have e-commerce websites with some product details where it will be titled discount, price, details, colors, or whatever. And then you can query in a bunch of e-commerce platforms and extract this data without changing anything.
Can we try that?
I'm doing it right now.
Can we search for something like creatine? Sorry, and then try to find the cheapest creatine supplement on the product list page. Is that kind of what you're talking about, Sergey? Because that's a complex page.
Cheapest one is already some analysis on top of the data that is extracted. So this is something that we can do with the help of SDK, for example. But the raw data extraction, like with prices, with titles, with all the information, with ratings, for example, this is something that AgentQL is perfectly suitable to do.
So check this out. I'm just going to give you an example here on with these cute little horse toys. I like toys. Bite me. This is just... I'm going to prove that we can get the information. We actually have an example for this in the examples repo that does price comparison pretty rigorously. We could run it locally, or maybe it would be more fun to actually show you how it works with Langflow.
That's amazing. So what you've done is you've turned the UI of Amazon.com into an API for some other front-end app.
Yep.
That's
exactly it.
Wow.
It's got all of them.
Can you add a field to that query, discount?
Oh, that's a great question.
This is so cool. Wow. By the way, y'all are awesome demoers. If you're in the audience here, give it up for your presenters, everybody. Give them some emoji reactions or leave a note in the chat. This is so cool.
I'm glad you're having fun. I love sharing this. It's I've actually built a ton of Zapier's apps to help me use this to keep track of the agentic web. I used to have to go to all these different social sites, run a search, look for important things. Now I have those URLs in Zapier, and I run the search every day, and then I feed all of that information to Claude. It's pretty cool.
It totally works.
Yep, it does, and it says this one doesn't have any discount.
That's incredible. Wow, I'm blown away. The things you can build with this, it's incredible. Can we do another example? Like, let's go Google something. Let's go Google vector database, just like google.com. Let's search, and if DataStax is not on there, I'm gonna cry. But come on, show me the DataStax somewhere in there. Not sponsored. I don't think we want to be sponsored, but hopefully we're.
Well, we've got Cloudflare, we got Amazon, we got. Look at this. What is a vector database? Like 3 times.
We've got IBM, which is, I guess, DataStax soon. Anyway, so like let's go to the AgentQL extension on the search result page. And what I'm trying to do is get a list of URLs for search results. Can we do that? I guess we
can, here?
Right?
Absolutely.
Whoa.
Okay, but I don't want the sponsored ones. You said you didn't want those, right?
Yeah, this is so cool.
So let's put a prompt here. Do not include sponsored listings. And then we're going to curly brace it, and we're going to say, let's see, title, description.
URL.
Yeah, URL.
No
Anything
way.
else? Fetch the data. Come on, baby. Let's do this. Syntax error. What did I do? What did I do? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we don't need that, right? Yeah.
Need to put these at the other end. I do this. This is
So
me.
cool. Wow. Drum roll, please.
Oh, don't embarrass me in front of
Wow,
everyone.
look at that. It got Pinecone, which is sponsored, to be fair.
No,
but
no. Pinecone
think
is actually
Pinecone's
the
later.
first one which is not sponsored.
Huh? Are you sure about that? Because no, it's sponsored. It's the third result here. There you go.
Yeah. Oh wait, there's one right under it though.
Oh, wow. The AI has outsmarted the humans.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. Amazing. It could tell the difference even between the two of them. So
That is-
yeah.
That's wow. This is the coolest thing I've seen in a long time. That is so cool. Okay, let's look at the Langflow integration, because now I want to know how I can build apps with this.
Awesome. So go to agentql.com and scroll you down. Look, all these cool examples. Ooh, who's this right here? Looking good.
I
Langflow.
kind of know that product from somewhere.
We have a couple of examples. We were just talking about pricing, and I have just edited this one. So it is ready to go. This is at the Langflow.new. I love Langflow.new, by the way.
This is the coolest thing. I'm having such a proud dad moment right now, because like I built Langflow.new, and to see it used for your product in such a like intuitive way, you just click this thing from the docs and go, is beautiful. Wow.
So we get the chat input, right? We connect it to the, I don't know if everyone here knows how Langflow.new works, but I'll explain it as best as I know. Got its agent here, and it takes, you give it keys, you got to pick a model and all of that. We chose OpenAI, and I gave it some instructions ahead of time. I gave it the instructions about how to write a query. Actually, it turns out you probably don't need to do that, because we can take natural language prompts as well, but I added that just to be super on the secure side. Now you add the AgentQL query data. You can find it over here. You just do a little search, and then, oh, here it is. You could pop it in. We're not going to, but that shows you how easy it is to look through this entire selection here. And we've got a Tavily AI search. These are tools. We've wired them up into the agent's tools, like so. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for your
If you click on the little cyan tools input, you'll see all the tools on the left that are available. So there's Bing search, there's Exa search, there's Notion, etc. Yeah.
I love you, Notion. I think I have one of these personally built for using with Notion. My Notion is gigantic. And then we're taking chat input and we're creating chat output. So let's see what happens when we go to the playground. I'm going to say, find me the best price on a Steam Deck. I want a Steam Deck. I really do. I have a Switch. I don't want one. I want a Steam Deck. So let's see what it's going to do. It goes to Tavily search. It does a search, gets URLs from Tavily, looking for Steam Decks for sale.
While this happens,
and then
what Tavily is?
It's an AI-powered search. I actually don't know much more about it beyond that. I guess we could have used the Google search API in here instead. Do you know anything about it?
Google doesn't have API, and this is why all the agentic tools they can use, like either DuckDuckGo search or Tavily search. So this is not powered by AI, but it's more like tweaked for AI. It's applicable for agentic use cases.
Oh,
cool.
So came back and said the best price is currently $399 on the Steam store.
What?
Yeah,
this is well, as my jaw is on the floor. That's incredible. Wow.
Nice.
And just
even
like that.
Compared all the price, like the differences in them.
Can we ask for a specific this seems like US centric, but what if I'm living in India or Germany? Can we be like, hey, where do I get the best maybe not, yeah, whatever. Yeah, cool, yeah. But now I'm so excited about this. Wow.
We'll see. I have, this is a fresh tool. Let's find out if we can do it. Okay, but now in Germany.
This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Okay, but now in Germany. That's the prompt, everyone. Wow.
Well, I mean, it understands English. It should figure this out. The nice thing, by the way, about AgentQL is that it actually works across different languages quite effectively. All right, here you go. $399 for the 256, but it's linking to the Steam store only in this case.
That's probably because it's the only store in Germany where you can buy it. But that is so cool.
Very nice.
Wow.
Okay, so we're coming up on the half-hour mark, but I want to see some MCP. I think everyone's been talking about MCP these days. It's just been MCP this, MCP that. Do you want to? I think you have something to share about an MCP integration too, don't you, Tejas?
I do. But before we do that, wait, hang on. Keep your screen. Can we close the playground real quick? I just want to draw everyone's attention to that button. Don't click it. Just zoom in to the API button on the top right. So for those watching, like with Langflow, this flow that Rachel just showed is exposed. If you use Langflow yourself, this is Langflow.new doesn't show you this, but you can expose this exact flow over an API endpoint with HTTP and then just connect it to any front end, and it just works.
Ooh.
And yeah, it's very cool. So it's over a web hook. So anyway, thank you for that, Rachel. I'd love to talk about MCP because we just launched literally a couple of weeks ago, or maybe even last week. We were quite early. We just launched our Astra DB MCP server. Astra DB, for those who aren't familiar, is DataStax's flagship and honestly best-in-class vector database. I know I'm not saying that because I work at DataStax, but that's why I work at DataStax, because we make the world's best vector database. Again, this is something that industry research firms say, not us. But this database is now fully operable by AI agents. You can like inside a database manipulate the data. You can make collections. You can insert records. You can query it all with just like Claude Desktop over MCP. So this is what it looks like. This is Astra DB MCP. It's open source. It's on GitHub. You can go check it out literally like this. And you set it up and use it, and you can like actually just work with your own database. So it's very, very cool. People have been playing with this a lot, and it's very exciting. I want to shout out Jack Harrington, who's here, by the way, who is an MCP expert at this point and who has inspired the design of this MCP server, who himself is creating MCP servers as well. Thank you, Jack. But that's our MCP server. And as I mentioned, it enables any MCP client or AI agent to operate an Astra database. It's incredible. I understand AgentQL has some MCP stuff as well.
Yeah, indeed. I was actually happy to work with you, Tejas, to build this Langflow integration, and I took a stab on building an MCP integration. MCP is obviously on the rise right now, and for some reason it was released like a few months ago, but for the past month, for the past weeks, like internet has gone crazy about that, and we released our own MCP, which allows you to work with AgentQL with data extraction from the web, right from your AI agent, whether this is AI agent in Cursor or Windsurf or your Claude desktop. So yeah.
Wait a second. So you're telling me I can tell Claude desktop to exactly what we just did, right? Go get me the cheapest Steam Deck price across the internet, and it will retrieve the data for me with AgentQL.
Yeah, probably. We can try this out, actually.
Wow.
And I can confirm that it will do that. You just tell Claude, it's like, you now have access to the internet through AgentQL. Have fun, sweetie.
Fantastic. I want to see this demo, but two things. One, I think we owe it to the audience. We're just using the term MCP, and people maybe haven't heard of that. MCP stands for Model Context Protocol, and it's a standard server client protocol to share context in the name with language models or MCP clients. And by doing this, you can share tools. You can literally go to an MCP client like Claude and say, hey, these are tools available for you to use. Tools like AgentQL, tools like Astra DB, and then the AI MCP client gains the ability to do stuff with those tools, like use AgentQL to search the web, use Astra DB to operate the database, and so on. I hope that introduction is helpful for people. But now let's talk about the AgentQL MCP server. And I wonder if I can challenge that and we can try and figure something out where we pull data from the internet with this AgentQL MCP server, and then using Astra DB's MCP server, put it in an Astra database. Woo, wouldn't that be incredible?
I just had the same thought when you were talking about your MCP, and I took a stab of like just creating the database, but I didn't configure this yet with Claude. So let's go step by step.
Okay, but maybe let's just start by showing people the AgentQL MCP
exactly.
server.
Let's go step by step. So let me turn on the screen sharing as well. I assume it will be whole page. Oh, actually, I can show just this Claude. Okay, so tell me if people can see Claude.
We can see Claude.
All right, so this is my Claude configuration, and I added MCP server for AgentQL as well as file system. As you can see, this is AgentQL. This is the tool that we're providing. So as
Can
Tejas,
you bump it up just a little bit in font size, Command++?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So as Tejas just mentioned, we don't have control over Cursor or Windsurf or Claude desktop. So it's not easy to just add whatever tools you want. It was not previously easy to add tools what you want in the agentic workflow. But MCP, this is an open standard, and it allows to populate tools from the outside. This is how I added AgentQL tool here. And what we can do here, I'm afraid the Steam Deck one won't work because Claude itself doesn't have access to the search, and the Langflow example had access to the Tavily search. But we can try.
I like that. I'm not sure this will work, but let's just try.
Yeah, let's try. Because interesting feature of, or like not the feature. Okay, as we can see, this doesn't use any tools that are packed in the Claude. If we would add something like Brave Search or Tavily Search in the Claude, I bet it would work. But let's try something that doesn't require you to go to a different website, like to a different search platform. So what about we will go to Y Combinator, extract top 5 news from the Y Combinator, and return specifically URLs, number of comments for this news item, vote points, and we need to go into each article, extract the additional information which is not present in the Y Combinator, like title, author, and date of the publishing, and then output this as a markdown and CSV. Let's see how this complex prompt will be performed by the Claude. Okay, I have Puppeteer set up, so let's try this out. Maybe this will work.
There's so much suspense.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, this doesn't work, and this is kind of expected because Puppeteer doesn't have the proper functionality right now in my computer. And then Claude figures out that it has another tool which is appropriate for this use case, and this is extraction of web data by AgentQL. Let's allow this to do its own work. And as you can see, it figured out the prompt, like what exactly to extract: title, URL,
Wow.
number, comments, and the URL that I've just given it bluntly.
I want to point out here that if the prompt is using natural language prompt, we were doing queries before, but AgentQL's API can actually take a natural language prompt straight up, which is what's happening here.
Important part here is that when you want structured data with a specific structure, like to digest it in your system, to integrate it there, then you will need to have specific AgentQL query provided. For agents, the structure, the JSON format is not enforced. It doesn't matter. So that's why we are able to just take the prompt and validate the AgentQL query like transparently. So as you can see, we extracted the data. This is the output: news stories, title, URL for every title, points, titles, etc. So now Claude writes some code to extract top 5 stories by points. So what AgentQL did is just extracted all the stories from the news in Y Combinator page. Now we're writing this code to just get the filtered out top 5 stories.
This is insane.
Okay.
Like,
Again, it tries to use Puppeteer, which it won't be able to. And
mine doesn't have Puppeteer, and it never has this problem. It just straight up uses AgentQL for everything.
Delete Puppeteer.
this is what happens when you have like too many things, too many tools configured.
I've actually heard that agents do best with only like 5 to 6 tools tops.
That's true. Yeah. Our colleague, Melissa Herrera, shout out, she's fantastic. She published a blog post about mistakes she made while working with agents. And one of the mistakes was, a huge mistake is to give an agent like hundreds of tools or many tools. And she said there's more success with having multiple agents with like 2 or 3 tools.
Actually, do you have a link for that you can share in chat? I want to go read it. I'm on a flight to London after this, and I am loading up my iPad with Goodreads.
But as you can see, it successfully is able to fall back to using AgentQL and extracting the data from the article already. So like it basically uses the URL which it extracted on the previous step by AgentQL, and then extracts additional information like title, author's name, and publication date.
This is the coolest thing. Oh my goodness. It's writing Markdown and getting Markdown table syntax correct. What? Oh no. Network error.
Yeah, having Puppeteer in the toolchain was not a good idea. Sounds like an easy choice.
Is it done? What's happening? Oh, there we go.
It generated a CSV file, but I guess it's trying to save it now. What just happened?
So I have a theory. I think there was a network error with generating the response, and then the entire response was thrown away.
Probably. Let me close Claude to remove the Puppeteer out of it.
Good idea. Yeah.
I just want to say that my biggest complaint about Claude for the longest time was that it didn't have access to the internet, like OpenAI. I use OpenAI ChatGPT for work, and I use Claude at home. And I am so happy to be able to lean on Claude for everything again. It's Claude plus tools is the best.
Yeah, there we go. So it's going to do it again.
Yeah, it's going to do it again, but now it will just use the AgentQL tool straight away because it knows what to do.
While we wait for this response, do you think we can set up your Astra DB MCP server and have it send hacker news data to Astra DB? That would just be so absolutely ridiculous if that works.
Set up Astra DB.
Because we've never done this before. This is zero shot.
That's just like an idea that came up literally in real time. So I will be interested to check this out.
Can we share your screen so that we can come with you on this journey instead of just looking at Claude generate?
Yep.
You feel safe sharing your screen, Sergey?
The best things happen when you don't. You remember this video of the guy on the news and his daughter comes into the room and like starts creating chaos? This was when in the middle of the pandemic.
I remember that.
Funniest video of all time.
So I guess I can share this screen. It's
infinity mirroring. Fantastic. Okay, so you have a database. Wow.
This is the database that I created while you were talking about MCP.
You got so far. This is awesome.
Well, I actually copied the client token, and I guess this is my endpoint.
Right. So let's go to. Did you set up? Wow, you got so far, Sergey. That's awesome.
Let's start from the beginning, I guess. So this is the link that they just shared in the chat. Everyone has this, so you can go with me on this journey, in a sense. So scrolling down, we see the MCP configuration in the Claude desktop application. So this is what we will need to copy. If we'll return to Claude, which is like finishing with the top 5 articles. By the way, writing CSV file right now using the file system MCP to save this on my desktop. Wow.
That is so cool.
Okay, we'll figure out where it can save the files, but like in the meantime, in the settings, you will see all the MCP servers configured. If we'll click the edit config button, we will see this Claude desktop opened in Finder. Now we can open this file and paste the configuration that's given here in the GitHub. I won't show you my file because it has my tokens, my secret password.
Please don't do that.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
My API keys. All API keys are here.
Was it a joke? That's just making
Yeah,
a joke.
okay. So like these things, token and endpoint, we will need to provide. And I guess this is the endpoint, right, Tejas?
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so I will copy this one. We'll add it into my MCP configuration. Yeah, as we can see, we just have the database. And
you generated a token already?
Yeah, token is generated as well. So let's go back to Claude, see the result. Okay, this is Claude. Claude extracted top 5 news, then went to each URL from top 5 news, extracted additional information, title, author name, and publications, and returned us this nicely formatted markdown table. You can remember that article title, author, and publication date are coming from each URL. The first 4 columns are coming from the first extraction from the Y Combinator news website. So Agent was able to also merge them together and present them in a nice manner, in this like visual manner. And as you can see, it also saved the CSV file in my Claude desktop folder. So let's actually check it out. Hacker news top 5. That's the one. Let me do this. Yep.
What?
This is a CSV which was generated 3 minutes ago.
By an agent.
Yeah, by an agent. So this is just one prompt, no code written, nothing. And you have this information extracted for you, formatted for additional loading, maybe in Google Sheets or in Notion or wherever else. And definitely, like, you can extract more than just top 5 news. You can do whatever you want with this.
That's ridiculous. That's absolutely insane.
Let's go and try the Astra DB then.
Yeah. Yes. I guess you have to restart Claude. But I would love it if you restart Claude and then come back to exactly the same conversation and literally just say, now insert this into my Astra DB or insert this into my database.
Let's do this. Yeah, let's do this.
Whoa. That's insane.
I'm opening Claude once again. Let's double check that we have new tools. This button shows us all the tools, and you can see Astra DB MCP populated the list of tools with a bunch of new ones. So it means configuration is correct. So yeah, let's go to our previous chat. You see the result. Let's ask it.
This is insane if this works.
Let's try. Oh no.
No.
Time to pay for Claude.
This is fun. Let me pay for Claude.
I agree. You should. I have the plan, and I love it.
Too much interesting information that we're losing.
I love that he's just subscribing to Claude like on a live stream. Anthropic owes us a commission on this for sure.
All right. Let me just input all my. Hopefully, you don't see my credit card number.
We don't.
We do.
Okay.
The suspense is killing us, Sergey.
This is absolutely killing me. Oh my goodness. By the way, the thing about a commission from Anthropic was a joke. I realized this is a company live stream, and I'm not just among friends here. I need to honor that context. But okay,
I would like a hat. I could use an Anthropic hat or Claude hat specifically.
Yeah,
some swag.
It would be nice. Yeah, I would also use this.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
definitely wear a Claude hat to conferences.
Or just one with the Anthropic logo. I love the Anthropic logo. It's like AI, but the I is like angled with the A. It's brilliant. I'm a huge fan of their branding. Anyway, are we?
Okay, let's see how it works.
I never realized that about the logo before, Tejas.
Well, there you go.
I'm a little cheesed off that Claude doesn't have a better logo than just the orange splat.
Which some could confuse for a starfish.
Right? One thing I'm wondering is, when is MCP going to get a logo? Do you remember like HTML5 and CSS3? They had logos even though they were like open standards. I need MCP to have an open logo now.
So David Para is the person working with MCP. I'm going to text him right now and be like, can we have a logo? Okay, so it says you're still using the limited free plan.
Yeah, but probably I need to restart it, but because it's already paid. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, professional plan.
All right. Moment.
Yes, you're legit now, Sergey.
Moment of truth. This is like everything that could happen happens on the live stream. Oh, it tries.
What's happening? Let's go.
Unauthenticated.
Invalid token.
Okay,
Brother,
let's tell me. Let's go and see.
Is your key correct?
First, let's quit Claude. Let's close the app. And then if you go to your JSON file, you'll want to make sure you have the right token in there. I can't see it, but it starts with Astra CS :
Astra. No, this is not the right token. So let's go. Tell me where to create the token.
Generate token is on the bottom right half of your. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Head over to the right sidebar.
That's it. Yeah, and now you copy that and paste it.
Okay. This is the wrong one. I mean, this is the right one. I had the wrong one.
I'm glad this is the issue. There's like
everything that can happen.
I want to encourage the chat and the audience to support us here with emoji reactions and messages and questions. We have time for questions at the end.
Double checking. Now trying this out one more time.
Chat, are you seeing this? Chat, I feel like I show speed, you know.
Ooh, let's go.
You said Astra DB, but let's see if it. Oh, it fixed your typo, brother. Whoa. All right.
It knows what you're trying to say. It gets it.
It created a collection for Hacker News articles, right? Go reload. Can you go back to the UI and go check if the collection exists? Data Explorer is where you want to go. There's a collection. What? Okay, chat, it's working. Chat, show us some love and
This is so cool. Now you can just go out and get
my
information.
inner I show speed. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Wow. So like now it just took the CSV file from.
We are all cooked. We're just cooked. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
I love that data entry will no longer be a part of my job.
Chat, are you seeing this?
Okay. It messed up the file names, so.
Okay, it's inserting.
It was able to read the file. It fixed the file name. Was able to read the file. Was able to.
Go to the Data Explorer. I think there may be some stuff.
It creates records one by one.
We'll have a batch job eventually.
I was going to say, I feel like it could be more effective.
Chat, are you actually seeing this?
Here.
What?
This is really nice. This is really nice. I'm impressed.
Some agent just like what? I give up. That's it.
No code written. Just to highlight this. No code written.
Now tell it to do a live stream about using itself.
That's the next step, Rachel.
This is awesome.
This blows my mind. This absolutely blows my mind. Jack Harrington inspired this. That's incredible. Wow. I think we should leave it there. My mind is sufficiently blown for the purpose of this live stream, and now we have time for questions. I bet there are some. If not, we could just keep messing around.
I like how everything went not according to the plan, because just to remind the chat, we didn't plan to try this MCP integration. So as you could see, I just configured everything from scratch, did a couple of mistakes myself. I had a coding example to show you, but like this seems like a lot more fun, honestly.
Yeah.
I love that about these live streams. They're not scripted. Everything just happens on the fly.
Yeah.
Breaks on the fly is getting fixed on the fly.
Zero code written, and wow, I still, my mind. So what you've done, just to recap, you added an MCP server, and then you mentioned to your MCP client, aka Claude, like, go get me data from Hacker News, but don't just get me the list, go into the articles, right? Get there from a separate page.
Extract additional information from every page.
Right. Yeah, and then put it in a CSV, save it to your file system, and then put it in a markdown table, save that to your file system, and then read the CSV and put it in Astra DB.
Yeah. It's like markdown for you to view, CSV for you to work later, and then we work later. We put this in Astra DB.
The only thing left is to say, now build a front end for it. And
using this
Jack,
as information.
We should maybe do a live stream with Jack, because Jack is working on that. TanStack Router is a React framework, really. And they have an MCP server as well, where you can just connect the front end, and then you've got a full stack application with data extraction and everything built in, which is absolutely incredible. Okay, I want to open up the floor to questions right now. We're here for you, audience. Chat, we're here for you. So if you have questions, we'd love to take them. I see one question here, but the question is, will the webinar be available to review or view again as a recorded replay? Yes, the answer is yes.
Thank goodness we didn't expose Sergey's credit card.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot easier to rotate tokens than credit card numbers.
Man, I love that he literally just subscribed to Claude Crow like on stream. Great. Okay, well, we have 12 minutes, and I don't see any more questions. Oh, here we go. Pranav, what limitation should we be aware that might not be obvious when building an MVP? Do you mean MCP, Pranav? Because C is right next to V on the keyboard and changes the entire question. I guess we can assume MCP, and then if we're wrong, Pranav, correct us. So he's asking, what limitation should we be aware of that may not be obvious when building an MCP server?
One of the current limitations, I need to double check, maybe Anthropic already fixed that, but you have a certain limit on the response from the underlying system, which you query with your MCP server. So like if you have long running requests, the request might time out and Claude Desktop or Cursor will not wait until the data is returned. Other than that, this is literally like you're writing a small client to whatever API you provide. Maybe this is a REST API. Maybe this is like your private API through SDK. And Claude just able to consume that in a structured manner. So Claude knows what prompts you have there, what resources you have there, what tools you have there. And for every tool, it knows every parameter. So this is really close to the tool call.
Good. Yeah, I hope that answers your question, Pranav. I have a question for you, a design question about your MCP server, Sergey. This one, what interface is it using with MCP? And for those listening, this comes from a comment from Jack Harrington in the chat, where he makes a good point. He says MCP on standard input and output is a pain because your debugging shifts to console.error instead of console.
Yeah.
And so for those listening who maybe aren't as familiar with MCP, there's really two ways you can interface with an MCP server. There's standard input out, which is your command line. And there's server sent events, which is over HTTP, another communication protocol. And so which one is it for the AgentQL MCP server, and why?
This one is standard input output MCP server. And this is because we don't have like a dashboard where you can configure your MCP endpoint with your token or something like this. And everything is executed on the client, on your laptop, basically. So like you provide with your personal token, and this works by sending requests to our backend.
Excellent. Yeah, for anyone wondering, the Astra DB MCP server is exactly the same, for exactly the same reasons. Great. We have 9 minutes, and so now's your time to get in your questions. If there's no questions, frankly, I would be interested in seeing that code demo if it can fit within our time, and if not, then we can.
Yeah, we can try this out.
Nice. I love that. Y'all are such a dream team because of the improvisational style of this. I absolutely enjoy this.
I won't spend time on recreating the demo, so I will just show it
Right.
as
Yeah.
is. Let me share the screen one more time. You will see a lot of yourself once again, and now it's cursor. So can you see this?
No.
I see an infinity shot.
I think you're sharing a window and not your entire screen. Because I saw a window.
Yep. What about now?
I'm not sure I understand. Pranav says that they did mean MVP. Would be great if limitations with MVP, minimum viable product, would also be addressed with AgentQL and Astra DB.
I think they are. Like, if I understand correctly, you can. I have every confidence in saying you can build a strong MVP with Astra DB and AgentQL. Meaning, like, you can build a minimum, like an actual product, with that as your database and AgentQL as your extraction layer, your data extraction layer.
Yeah, definitely. Like to prepare your data, for example, ahead of time.
Exactly. There are no limitations there. You can build an MVP with it. Cool. All right, let's look at this.
All right, let's look at the demo. So what's happening here? We're using our Python SDK, which is working on top of the Playwright. So what we have is with Playwright, we create a browser, we create a new page, and then we wrap it with AgentQL functionality, which actually gives us access to the data extraction and element finding capabilities of AgentQL. And this is what we can do with the page. Like just with a natural language prompt, we can search elements on the screen, like we did before with the primary CTA button or something like this. So this whole example just queries all the comments about AgentQL from Reddit website and tries to do a sentiment analysis on these comments to understand whether comments are positive, negative, how many of each have. So what we're doing here is we'll load Reddit on Reddit website. Let's actually check this out. This is Reddit website. So if you will go here and write AgentQL, oh, why do I do this? Let me demo this.
I love that. Let me just demo this. While you pull that up, Jack Harrington's asking a question. Should an MCP server be your API to your service? Or should you have both an API as well as an MCP server? Rachel, I'm gonna have you answer this.
I was just typing this one out. I'm so sorry. I was like, both. For instance, our Zapier integration uses our REST API directly, and we actually prototyped it out using Zapier's REST zaps. You know, like you can just wire up your own API endpoint. Like REST APIs, they're backwards compatible with a lot of clunky, less agentic systems. But MCP really is specifically for the agentic workflows. So I say you should have both, especially if, kind of like AgentQL, you can be offering an AI-enhanced experience for perhaps less smart workflows. That's my opinion, though. Sergey, you're the one who's been in the weeds with MCP. What's your opinion?
I missed the question, sorry, because I'm populating API keys in my
I was trying to kill air for you.
That's okay. No, I think I agree with your take, Rachel. The way I see it right now, and you can tell me if this is accurate or not. Sergey, if you're listening, I know if you're busy navigating tokens.
Yeah. Now I'm listening.
MCP servers are supposed to be a progressive enhancement of your application or services API. They're not meant to be a replacement, meaning like you should offer an API for developers and an MCP server for agents if you want adoption by developers ultimately. And I think that's kind of it. And we do this as well for Astra DB. There's, of course, a data API, but in the case of operations folks who, for example, you've got an Astra database with 10 million employees, and you want to find, hey, which employees are on vacation this week across the entire company, you can prompt that, and your MCP client will just do it for you. You don't need to have someone build a dashboard. And so it's a hybrid solution. Does that make sense? Is that clear? Is that, Rachel? I think that's kind of what you were saying as well. You need both.
it's a good idea to have both. Even MCP integrations themselves usually are built on top of an API somewhere. So why not just expose that endpoint so that people aren't forced to use the sugaring?
And I guess it's also important to mention that like MCP cannot be just easily consumed in the fast manner. It's just still involves going through the additional hoops. And MCP basically wraps your API or SDK for the agents to consume.
Yeah.
Would you describe it as like wrapping an endpoint and with instructions for how the agent is supposed to use the information?
Yes, kind of, because you in the endpoint itself, you may not have information what is each field about. So even open API documents which are generated by Swagger or something like this, they don't have description of every field. And here you have precise description for the LLM to be able to generate values or substitute values to the fields. And
so it's like wrapping documentation around your API.
Yeah, for the agent.
All right, in the interest of time, I'd love to see this demo if it's ready.
Let me share this again and run this. So what we're doing here, opening Reddit, searching for the search field.
Wait, this is your agent doing this right now?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not doing it. Here are my hands. So it entered AgentQL in the search box. It switched to the commands section, to the commands tab in the on the web page. And now you can see that in different Reddits, basically, you have commands that mention AgentQL in this manner or another. And now we're trying to extract this out. Yep. This is what's happening. Like
wow. Can you bump the font size a couple of times, please?
Yep. Let me try this here as well.
You can just press Command plus in the terminal.
Yeah. Oh yeah, awesome.
Awesome.
So this is the data extracted from the page. Now we're sending requests to OpenAI to do sentiment analysis on every command, basically.
Wow.
And while this is being done, let me walk you through the code. Like here, we're extracting data. This is familiar AgentQL query saying that we're getting collection of commands with username, command date, command text, and date. Then we're doing sentiment analysis with GPT 3.5 Turbo, and we count positive, negative, and neutral sentiment.
Wow.
So we see that we have 5 neutral comments, positive 11 comments, and 1 negative. Which one is negative? You can see that we have also explanations, so like we can analyze this. Oh, by the way, and I'm saving this information in the CSV, in the JSON, sorry, for the later analysis. This is kind of full response, basically. This is extracted by AgentQL. This is generated.
I see myself in there.
Yeah, next door neighbors.
Oh yeah. Oh, Rachel Lee. Sounds like you're leaving positive comments about AgentQL. Yeah. That's a small demo, and we are right in time.
Yeah, that's I love that you've done this, because I actually built a product that does exactly this, and it doesn't use AgentQL, and I would love to actually move it to AgentQL. So that was so we can talk more offline. But hey, I just want to take a moment and acknowledge what a great live stream. I mean, most of it was improvised, but
that was fun.
Yeah, it was like playing in a jazz band. We just knew what we wanted, and we did it. And so thank you so much, Rachel, Sergey, and the audience. It's been such a pleasure. This will be posted online, and if you have any questions, you can follow them on socials, on the internet, and yeah, we can continue to stay in touch. Thank you again so much.
Yeah, guys, that was a pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. And if you have any more questions about AgentQL, feel free to drop in our Discord or reach out in X.